Alright, so let's talk about the Raxiom 2015 Mustang navigation unit. So let's just dive right in, and I'll let you guys know what I think after having it for a couple months. So let's just turn it on. See how long it takes to turn on.
Everybody? Yes, right now everybody gets a free phone. You?
Okay, so this is how it turns on every time. It goes straight into the radio mode. As far as I'm aware, there's no way to change that. So you can pick here for CD if you have a CD. Just tap that, go to CD mode, go to HDMI. You can plug in your phone or your computer or something, and you'll be able to view the video on there once you click this button. And then an auxiliary, which I didn't even hook up because I just use Bluetooth or USB that's already in the console or under the start button there. So it automatically goes to radio. It will save your station that you choose, obviously, what you were listening to last. But the big thing I wish was able to be done was to automatically start using the Bluetooth if that's what you left it on. That's what the base radio did, or the stock radio, and I just wish they would have continued that for this model here, but they didn't. So in this is the sync menu. Once you hit sync, it'll automatically connect your phone if your Bluetooth is on, and then it'll start playing the music, which is pretty nice. But like I said, every time you start the car, it'll go to here. So if you're running in and out of places and you're listening to something on your phone, every time you get in the car and start it up, you're going to have to wait for it to boot up and then hit the sync button. And also I've noticed that the audio, like the volume level for the radio, tends to be a lot louder than the volume level for the Bluetooth, even if your phone's on, the max volume. So it's kind of, if something on your phone isn't super loud, you'll get blasted from the radio until you can switch over, which, I mean, it is what it is, but that's something I wish they would resolve with an update, but there hasn't been any so far. The nice thing is, though, that the steering wheel volume controls still work. As you can see, I'm doing it now, and so does the skip and all that kind of stuff. So let's go home. So you can see Bluetooth is disconnected because I'm recording this video with my phone. You can easily turn off the GPS voice. So if you're in an area that you know where you are and you don't want to hear it keep saying turn left, turn right every 3 seconds, you can just turn that off until you get to an area where you actually need to hear, the directions. It'll say what radio station it's on, and then we got the climate, which we can go into. Now this is something I never use because it's all right down here. So I don't know why, if I'm listening to it, if it's in here, I have to click that and then do what I want to do, or why not just go right down there and change it. But I mean, it's here, it works. See, I turn it on. You can't change the temperature or the speed of the fan, but you can do everything else basically. So I mean, it's cool it's there, but I don't really use it. So then the other last thing here is, well, not the last thing, is this temperature, or not the temperature, but it's a couple OBD info things on your car, so you can see the battery voltage, whether or not the parking brake is on. So I can turn that on real quick, see what went on, and RPMs and your speed. They update pretty quickly, the refresh rate on those. Obviously my car isn't on right now, so you're not going to be able to see that, but those are actually kind of cool to view, and so that's kind of neat. And we go into settings, and so you have different options here for your audio. You can change, the EQ of it a little bit, and change where the direction is of where the sound points to. Just like in the factory radio, how there was a driver's mode and a passenger mode, so it kind of focuses the sound on the driver a little better. But I've noticed that this is like backwards. So when I put it up there where the driver is, where I am, all I hear is the front left speaker for whatever reason, which doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me. So I did the back right, which boosted the volume of the other three, areas, and now it's more centered to me. So if you hit driver, you'll see the arrow go over there, so I'll do that. So that's where you think, all right, it's set up for the driver, but all you hear is the front left speaker. So all you have to do is just click these buttons and you can move it to, oops, to wherever you want. So somewhere around there. And then that top button will just center it. So let's go back. And the touch screen, as far as touching it, I mean, it's pretty good. You don't have to like push it in or anything like that, so it's nice. It is like a nice kind of touch screen. The GPS, I'll go to GPS settings. So I guess there's a little bit of things you could do here. The voice level, the voice mix, if you want to like make the volume turn down, or the music you're listening to, or you know, whatever. You can play around there, a little bit of settings. There's not a whole lot of customization to this thing, unfortunately. So the system time was something that wasn't working when I first got this unit. It would, no matter how many times I would change the time to the correct time, it would just, you know, change itself to whatever it would want to be, which was incredibly frustrating. So I think they finally got that. I got an update from them, which is a little SD card, which is actually up here. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but you can actually push that in, and it just flew out on me. But yeah, so you can actually put that back in for the update, and then just go through the update setting, and that seemed to fix it. Seems to fix it with me, but yeah, it's kind of a pain that that was even an issue to begin with. So I heard reviews that this auto GPS actually will slow down the settings for things. So if you turn that off, apparently it's supposed to help things be less laggy. So I haven't even tested that out yet, so I'm going to try that now. So we can show you how to change the time in here. It's pretty obvious. Pick the day, so it is February 2nd. So we can pick the time, which I actually don't even know, since again, my phone is being used for this video, so I can't see the time on that. So anyway, we'll go home. Actually, we'll go back into settings, see if there's anything else. Other, so you can, you know, temperature units and all that kind of stuff. Rear camera option, just stick with OEM. I don't know why you'd have to change that. And help, show you how to do stuff. But so let me find that SD card that just flung out, and I'll show you guys the GPS. Okay, so I found a little micro SD card. Luckily, it just landed right in the shifter boot. But so that's all it is. So this is the full GPS software on here. So if I don't have this plugged in, I'll actually show you what happens here. And it comes pre-installed, so you don't even have to really worry about it. But it'll tell you, you know, it can't find this stuff. So you just plug it in up in this slot here, and that's where you install the update from as well. You take this guy out of there, plug in the update one, do the software update, and then everything's good to go. You can plug this back in, and then you got your GPS again. So hit that, it should find it. There we go. So now it's loading the GPS for us. Now, it usually doesn't take that long. I think it did just because I had it unplugged. So, so we can go to the menu here. So we can make a new route. So this is kind of like any other, like over-the-counter, over-the-counter GPS that you would use. So we could, you know, pick a spot, and it'll show you how to get there. You could select as the destination, calculate route, start navigation. You know, I'll tell you how to get there. It works well. It picks up your location. Like I said, the refresh rate on even this is pretty good. It will take you some strange ways, I've noticed. I've just tested out going to places I already know how to get to. It doesn't seem to always go the quickest way. I've noticed even it'll tell you to go different ways going to and from that place. So I don't know. That's probably just a shitty kind of software that it is, the iGo or whatever it is. But I mean, it does work for all intents and purposes. It has this cool view. This is kind of laggy, I've noticed. It's not as quick as a refresh rate as the other things in this, but it does work. It shows you the speed. It looks kind of cool. Arrival gives you some information there. Other things. So if I want to delete the route, I can just click that, yes, and now it'll stop telling me where to go. So there's different. You can change like the view settings, make it look so this is just the top, you know, like a map view, and this is 3D. Make it look a little cooler when you're driving into the city and buildings and stuff. So Another cool thing. I don't really use this a whole lot. I still tend to use my phone, even though it is right here and convenient. But it is a feature that if you want on your car, now you have it, that the factory didn't have. And once you're in the navigation, you can come back here and change the radio station or switch to your phone radio. It stays working, the navigation stays going, so you don't have to worry about accidentally, exiting out when you don't know where you're going or something like that. So that's all good. But other than that, the installation isn't terrible. I'll actually show you guys what you have to do. I'm not going to obviously do it, but I'll show you, just point out where you have to do things and stuff like that. So let me take the camera here. Alright, so first thing to install this is you actually have to go down here on each side and take off this panel here. So you just pry it off, and there's 2 bolts in there you take off, so it's the same thing on both sides here. Then you go all the way back here and open this guy up. You have to pry off these edges and then lift this whole thing up and take out this guy. There's 2 bolts there. This little panel will come off, 2 bolts in there, and then you have to take this whole panel off here. Again, you just pry that off. Then finally, there's 2 bolts under here, I believe, 2 bolts under there, 2 bolts here, and then this whole panel will come out. There's a couple tabs on that as well, so just pry it off. And then after that, it's pretty much the easy part. There's just some connectors that you just unconnect. They come with all the adapters you need, so you don't have to like splice wires or anything like that or do any soldering, which is nice. So after that, it's all just kind of plug and play. Put everything back, and it should start up fine. The first one I had was actually defective. It kept rebooting like every 10 seconds after I turned on the car. But American Muscle and Raxiom were awesome to deal with. They gave me a new one, shipped a new one out to me after I shipped mine back to them. They paid for shipping both ways, so that was nice. And the second one, this unit, has been doing pretty well for me. So one more thing that people were probably curious about is the backup camera. So I'll go ahead and open up my garage door here for us, so we can actually see something. Okay, and let me just turn on the car. And so yeah, there's going to be glare. I'll try to minimize that glare for us. Put it in reverse. So you see, it does still have the lines. It'll show you it's turning and stuff. And I mean, it looks pretty good. One thing I do miss on the base radio is, I'll turn it off here so it's easier to hear me. So on the base radio, they had a little guy in the top right, I believe, that would show the different distances from the backup sensors that I have. I know that's not a base option in Mustangs, but I had it on mine. Actually, I'll leave the door open so I can show you those sensors. I paid for my sensor, so it was cool. It would show you like a little graph of how far away things are from those back sensors. So let me go just show you what those look like on the back here. A little snow on the ground today. So these guys here, so they're all backup sensors for us. So I missed that, but again, not the end of the world. I do wish I had it. So if they would put out a couple updates, they could fix the majority of the things, if not all of the things that I wish this radio had. But yeah, so for $700 or $800, whatever it goes for, I don't even remember. Is it worth it? That's really up to you guys. It's hard to make that judgment call, being that high price. I know there's other ones out there that are a little cheaper you might want to go with. They're all pretty much the same. So it's up to you guys, but hope this was helpful for you guys, and have a good one.